Alright, I am back with another Diablo 4 video. Prepare to see my channel split at least a little bit between Destiny 2 and Diablo 4 once that game is released, even though that does not come out until June now. We've had 2 beta weekends, so there has been a lot to talk about. I think this is only my second video, but now that the beta is ending in a few hours after I'm recording this, I wanted to kind of give my final thoughts on this, as I've had a wide range of takes, good, bad, in between, about the beta and my time with it. You can see my time with it here, which it may not look like a lot given that I have 2 characters and only one of them is maxed, but I literally did that on purpose. I physically restrained myself, well, I guess mentally restrained myself from doing all 5 classes and maxing all of them, even though I easily could have based on my experience and the fun I was having. So I just did these 2 because everyone's progress is being wiped. So it didn't seem like the best use of my time to do all 5 classes and play through all these story missions early on 5 times when I'm going to have to do it 5 more times when the actual game launches. So I did restrict myself a little bit on purpose there, and I have not finished the story on Druid yet. I'm just going to go down and explore over there, maybe get in a dungeon or something as I talk about this. But I guess that speaks to the quality of the game, where I know I'm going to end up addicted to this, so I don't want to overdo it. So my main negatives about this have been on the technical side, and part of that is about the queue times and things, which I'd say about for half of the weekend is when I started to really run into poor queue times here. It did kind of resolve as the weekend went on, but there were just so many frustrating instances where you would get in a really long queue, like 30 minutes to 2 hours, get in, play for 10 minutes, get disconnected, get put back in the queue again. But that's not the only issue here. If you're watching this, you can probably see one of the other issues here is that this game is not running terribly well on PC. I have like a 3080 in here. Like it is very hitchy and just not really that good. It's also a memory hog, so like this is probably even running worse than normal because I am recording with OBS at the same time. It just does not run very well based on, what my specs are, what I would expect out of this. So we're going to do a little public event here, which is already in the works. We're supposed to kill things in these pillar areas, people. Come on. And it is not running great. I really wish that it would perform a little better, and I hope that there are some things they can optimize before launch here, because this is just not really what I would be expecting to see in terms of performance. So that is what I'm worried about on the technical end, and like there are issues like rubber banding, and I keep trying to get in new zones, and it like will have me run in place sometimes, and like it just, there are many issues. Let's see, give me a legendary. Nope. I'm maxed on Murmuring Ovals. I don't even know if you can spend those yet. I think they're like the new shards for gambling. And I just, I want to see this perform better as time goes on and be better optimized. Because right now, like I know some people were even having crashes because it was running so poorly. So we'll see what the final result is here. But the area I am the least impressed with this game is technical performance, at least on PC. I hear it's running better on console. I hear it just kind of plays better on console, which is so weird for a Diablo game, but here we are. That said, I have really enjoyed actual gameplay. I think they really nailed it so far. Even if we're, pretty early on here, I would say that this feels like what I want from a Diablo game. Even in the limited classes I've found here, monster slaying is as fun as it ever is, and even just using a handful of the skills and just a couple of the classes here, and I've watched gameplay of all of them. I'm really enjoying myself, and it truly does seem like they have nailed the spirit of Diablo here, even if we have not experienced the end game yet, or things like that. Have I gotten anything good here? I love like actually trying to increase my build here, even though this character gets wiped in like 2 hours. But that's how much I like the game. Um, I really enjoy the new skill system. I do sort of miss the flexibility of the runes from Diablo 3, but it's easy enough to respec if you want to, where, this costs what, $430 gold out of my grand total to respec everything. And like, it's a little cumbersome because sometimes you wish you're like, okay, I just want to change the skill to be over here, but you can't do that. You have to refund the entire thing and respec again, which is mildly annoying. But I get that, it's a significant upgrade from Diablo 2 where you had to create like an entirely new character from scratch to like really do a full new build. So it is better in that way. The UI is like not amazing. It's still a little cumbersome. I think there could still be some improvements here. I feel like I don't even know all of the tips and tricks here. Like, can you mass dismantle things from here, or do I have to go to town? I'm not. I've been throwing things on the ground if I run out of space rather than TPing back to town sometimes. I don't like know everything about how all of this stuff works, but at baseline, I'm decently, enthused about the gear so far. I like that they increased the legendary drop rate for the beta, so we can see at least some of the, cool specific effects that are attached to some of these legendaries. I'm a little wary of legendaries having the same affixes across them, which is a little strange, but I've seen some interesting ones so far. Like, this totally changed my druid playthrough. This one ring, doubling the damage of my werewolf companions, or my wolf companions, which became werewolves and could spread rabies. Very cool thing. It's, this is just a level 4 ring or whatever, but, we're getting some hints about some interesting types of things coming, whereas, Diablo 3 launched with just dramatically underpowered legendary loot and a horrible drop rate, where even if these drop rates are increased or decreased from here, I think they're still going to be just fine. Let's go do this dungeon. I don't know if I'll get through the whole thing by the time my thoughts are over, but I like most of the MMO elements they've imported here, and a lot of the stuff they've kind of yanked from Lost Ark. The exploration stuff is cool. I like earning renown in a zone. It really encourages exploration as opposed to just running, one thing over and over again. That may not be true in the long term, because like once you're done with an area, you're probably done forever, and a lot of this stuff is cross character, so you don't really need to explore everything like super a lot once you're done with that. But I think it's a good addition that makes the open world a little bit more interesting. I like the things like the public events. I think it's fun to happen across a public event and have some other people doing it with you, like the one we just did. I like that is now possible. The world bosses, I think it's a little early to judge the world bosses. I've only tried to do it once, and it was such a weird, bad experience. I didn't want to do it again in the beta. I was level 25, but I was not geared up enough for it really at all. And I had a bunch of people in my instance that were like level 11, and it's like, guys, what are we even doing here? And it wasn't physically possible to beat. I do wonder how sort of instancing is going to work with that. Like, am I just at the mercy of, whatever is in my instance, or like, is there some sort of matchmaking system that is not live yet? Like, I just don't really, get how it's going to work with stuff like that, or if I'm going to have to like manually find a party to run a world boss with out of game. I'm a little unclear about stuff like that. So I'm hoping there's improvements there. Unlike Lost Ark, this does not have like dungeon matchmaking or anything like that so far. I had some initial complaints that dungeons seem a little repetitive. Like, I've already seen a lot of the same objectives, even a lot of the same bosses in dungeons. The caveat to that is like, this is Diablo, and the diversity in Diablo is more about your build and your character rather than diversity of actual like gameplay. It's different because we have to look to past games. So like, how diverse was gameplay when you were running the same Bale run 200 times in a row? Or how diverse really was Diablo 3 and its Rift system, which those were very close to, different tile sets, different mix of enemies, but like those were extremely similar. So if we're judging by that metric, even now the dungeons seem a little more varied than that, with a little more different objectives, like find the pot, destroy the constructs, blah 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 blah, stuff like that. So you are going to run into some similarity here, but I think that is it's a little hard to avoid in this genre, and I am hoping that there is stuff left to be found, in the end game that is going to make things a little more diverse than what we see here. So much of Diablo depends on the end game that it's hard to give a full assessment of the beta based on, I'm gonna knock him out of this poison cloud. Based on the end game. I got some pants, didn't I? Yeah, these are good pants. All right. My armor goes up, I'm switching to it usually. We have to wait and kind of see on a lot of this stuff, and I think there's only a certain amount of things you can judge based on the beta, based on the limited gear, limited build stuff you're allowed to have here. I wrote an article today about how people think that Druid and Barbarian need some buffs. I posted that and people were like, haha, no way Barbarian needs buffs. Like, no way. Although Blizzard themselves has literally said that early game Barbarian does not feel great, and they will probably be buffing that. So, yeah, that's actually happening. I don't know about Druid, but the idea is that, especially boss fights with these melee classes, they do not feel good compared to most of the range classes. Oh, legendary drop. Live on stream. Let's see what this is here. Critical strikes spawn 3 dancing bolts that seek out enemies in the area, dealing 153 lightning damage. Okay, that's for a skill I don't have, and it's one of the lightning skills. I'm not going to go through my entire build right now just to use that, but always love to see a legendary drop. Always fun. I have enjoyed my time with Druid. I will agree that I am certainly doing less boss DPS than my rogue, but oh no. Well, this wasn't planned, certainly. Definitely not going to kill the butcher on my Druid. No way. I am not geared for this. Oh my god. I could just kite him forever, probably, and have my werewolves kill him, but as you can see, I am not geared for a butcher fight right now. I love this, that he comes out of nowhere to just murder you. In no way was I ready for that on this character. And then you can't go and get him again. He's gone, and you have to kill him some other time. Little things like that are good additions to the series here, and I really do enjoy. Oh wait, did I get a skill point? Did I get XP from dying to the butcher? Alright, so let's upgrade. Trample grants 20% base life as fortify. Trample grants 20% spirit. Okay, I am painfully short on spirit with this class, so I'm happy to see anything that gives me more spirit. Druid has a real problem with spirit generation, I think. And oh man, we're just getting all the things here. I see a treasure imp over there. I swear in the open beta, they spawn these more often, because I did not see that many in the closed beta, but I've seen a lot of them here. Oh, a shrine. So artillery shrine, very helpful for killing treasure goblins. Usually at this level, I think the treasure goblin should drop legendary, which it did. Love those increased drop rates. I'm going to kill all these guys, hopefully not get disconnected. Really, after all this time, wish there was not a live option, and that would just let me play by myself, so I wouldn't have to worry about disconnects. But if Diablo 3 didn't have that, this certainly wasn't going to have that. What do we got? You heal for 2.9 life per second for each close enemy, up to 26 life per second. That seems pretty good. Is this Druid only? I'm wondering. Well, it gives you Cyclone armor, but oh no, spiders are here. Okay. So that is giving you healing for close enemies. So the Druid is definitely supposed to be kind of a tank class, which is not the best for solo play, but in a group I can imagine it would be better. This just has enough here. Oh my gosh, so many legendaries. The game is just showing off for my video here. This definitely is going to be a huge hit. That might sound very obvious given that it's a Diablo game. And yet, debilitating roar is now a werewolf skill. It will immobilize poisoned enemies. Well, I don't have any poisoned enemies, but whatever, fine. Uh, it's going to be big, and why I think it's going to be big is because I don't see any. Diablo 3 was big even despite having very clear mistakes at launch. I do not see anything on the horizon here that is going to be some giant misstep like the auction house. The auction house, it was easy to see coming from a mile away that was a terrible idea and was going to go horribly, and it ended up really damaging the loot chase for the game. Why farm anything when you could just go to the auction house and find something, better than you would just be farming out in the wild, especially with drop rates so poor when it started. So it's like you kill the construct and then a big boss guy spawns anyway. So what's the point of the construct? I don't see anything like that here. We know this is a live game. We know they're doing seasons. We know they're doing a battle pass. But this shouldn't really be news, right? I mean, Diablo 3 has had seasons. They're on what, like season 30? I don't even know anymore. Where you can have characters that reset every season. You get bonuses, blah, 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 in addition to your long-term permanent characters. Like, this is not news. It is not unexpected. But they have really gone out of their way to show that this is not going to be either an auction house situation or a Diablo Immortal situation. Diablo Immortal remains something I'm like pretty pissed about and how that went down, because that is a genuinely good Diablo game. It's like Diablo 3.5. They had a number of... I missed a resplendent chest back there, didn't I? I'm just thinking about it now. Whatever. It really did a lot of things right, to the point where I was actively upset once I found out that power was going to be directly tied to this ridiculous gem system that was totally pay to win and would cost $10,000, $100,000 to max your character, and there was just no way you were ever going to do that in game. That like actively upset me because of how annoying it was. Because it was a genuinely good Diablo game. You could play on PC, like you could play on your iPad. It really scratched an itch that had not been present since the original Diablo. They did a great job with the mobile controls, but they totally butchered it on the altar of microtransactions. At least right now, given how much they are really trying to convince us that these microtransactions are going to only be cosmetic, I have hope that they are not going to make that same mistake here. And I could be naive about that, but they would just literally be straight up lying if they were hiding something like that. No, please don't mortar me. So my take here is that kind of everything they promised so far has panned out. Everything they've shown has not been misleading. I have thought that everything about this game has looked pretty incredible since the first kind of trailers. And playing it now myself, it really does feel that good. It is kind of everything I was hoping this game would be, again, outside of technical concerns, which I do believe, despite this being a beta, will probably carry through to launch. But in terms of gameplay, in terms of class structure, skills, early loot here, early builds, how everything feels, I do believe that this is going to deliver something that hews closer to Diablo 2, but also doesn't abandon all of the progress made. What is this? Okay, so this is something I haven't seen yet. Apparently a spider nest den here. I really do believe that this is going to have probably a stronger, less controversial start than Diablo 3. Unless they are hiding something horrible, unless the game is offline for some indefinite period of time, like even worse than Era 37, which seems unlikely. It feels like this launch is going to be stronger. And ultimately, I think this will end up being one of the biggest games of the year. I don't know what Call of Duty is doing. Hogwarts Legacy may be hard to top because that has such broad appeal among a wide range of ages, whereas Diablo skews older, and it's been a decade. What do I need? Oh my god, I don't even know if I'm going to get fully through this dungeon because it's so long, and I have to pad my video time just to get through it. This is the gatekeeper, at least. But yeah, so it's easy to see that this will probably be one of the biggest games of the year. I have no real doubt about that. It's just a matter of how difficult will launch be based on all of the issues that come with any online game, especially a Blizzard game, especially a Diablo game, will that last a day, a week? I'm not sure, but I am fully expecting. Wait, I need the key. I am fully expecting something like that to happen. But that said, like everything I'm seeing from the beta here, in terms of gameplay, has reinforced, outside of minor annoyances like, oh, the UI could be better, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, there are things here and there you can nitpick, but the overall whole here is incredibly solid, and, oh, it's a spider boss, is incredibly solid, and I fully believe that this is going to have a very successful launch. Okay, let's not poison me all the time. That's very irritating. Uh, like things like the health potion system. Like, I don't know if that's maybe the best thing they've done. Like, is this better than health orbs? I don't know. Like, that's debatable. But, spider hosts. Generally speaking, this is very promising. I didn't even talk about the story. I guess that's one thing I could talk about as I'm fighting this boss with my underpowered druid. Sorry, I have my mic in front of my skill bar, so I can't see all my skills cooldowns. I have been deeply impressed with the story components they've shown so far. Like, I was genuinely not expecting to really care about the story, because I haven't really cared about the story in any Diablo game, and that was certainly a weak point of Diablo 3. Stuff like killing Deckard Cain with the butterfly demon woman in, like, not even a real cutscene. Very, very poor. But all of the Lilith stuff so far is incredible. Like, it is truly engaging in a way I was not expecting to see at all. Like, I had no clue that they were kind of going to go that hard with the story. And, like, I knew they were going to have a darker tone. Like, they were very clear about how they wanted to do a darker tone this time around, even though, I didn't really buy all the, Diablo 3's tone was too light and stuff. Like, I thought that was a little overdone. But it didn't have a good story, I will admit that. But here with the stuff with the Lilith, the part where the cult, kidnaps you and is about to sacrifice you to Lilith after you've just saved their town, they're doing some really neat, creepy stuff here in a way that I appreciate. So, as you can see, my druid actually did pretty good there. He struggled against some of the story bosses and no legendary, but, and I've maxed out my gear slots here. So that is probably the end of my thoughts here. Overall, very impressed with the beta. If I have to restrain myself from playing because I'm having such a good time and I know progress will be wiped, that is a good sign. And I really do believe that they've gotten a lot of stuff right here, and that this is a game I'm going to be playing for years, like the past games. And I am hoping that they learned enough from Diablo 3's launch that they are not going to make any just horrific missteps at launch and giant mistakes. It does not seem like they're going to do that. Nitpicks aside, beta feedback aside, technical launch issues, which are inevitable, aside. I very much believe that this should have a stronger launch than Diablo 3, which obviously already had its own strong launch because I think it was, at the time, it was the fastest selling PC game in existence. So we will see in June. We are, 3 months away from the beginning of June now when this launches. This will be in week 3 of Season of the Deep of Destiny, and I am going to lose my mind trying to balance those two games, given how much playtime they require. That's we'll talk about that another day. I think I wrote an article about that already. But anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know if I'll do another Diablo video before launch. I guess it depends on what news comes out about the game. But for now, it'll be back to Destiny for a while. So, and I'll play Redfall when that comes out in a month too, and probably do a couple things on that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Take care.